Well, hello and welcome everyone to the June Product Connect webinar. Can you believe it's June? We're like halfway through the year already. Well, I'm thrilled to have you all here today, and thank you for taking the time to join us and for your unwavering support of LifeWave. Now, this year is truly special because we're celebrating our 20-year anniversary in business. It's an achievement that many companies strive for, but not a lot of companies make it to 20 years. And it's a testament to the dedication and passion of our incredible community. So I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to all of our customers and brand partners on the call. Your commitment and enthusiasm for LifeWave are the driving forces behind that success. You're the heroes of our story, and it's through your efforts that we're seeing such a fantastic year this year and in the past years. Now, I also want to welcome all of the guests who are joining us. You are most welcome, and we are very, very glad to have you on the call as well. Now, this year isn't just about financial success. It's about the lives we've enhanced, the health that we've improved, the opportunities that we've created together. It's about the profound impact that we've made in the lives of countless individuals. So as we move forward, let's continue to build on the momentum and strive for even greater heights. And remember, if you have any questions for David, we do have time at the end that we generally save for that. Make sure that you're putting them down in the Q&A. We do see them. We get a lot of questions, and so we don't get to all of them, but we are so grateful that you're submitting them, and we try to get to as many as we can. Now, without further ado, I'm honored to introduce our esteemed CEO, founder, and the brilliant inventor of LifeWave technology, David Schmidt. David, welcome.
Hey, Jeff. Great to see you.
Hey, how are you?
I am doing wonderful, and thank you for reminding me that it's June. I don't like the idea that we're rushing along so quickly through the year. I want to enjoy every moment of our 20th anniversary. But it is great that it's June because it's a great time to be talking about weight loss, or probably more preferably fat loss. As people are planning to go on vacation in July and August, they may want a few helpful tips about how they can reduce some unwanted body fat. So we're going to be talking about that today.
Well, that's fantastic. I've got my notebook and my pen. So it is a very timely and a great topic.
Well, first, let's start out with a little bit of a thought experiment so we're all operating on the same page, because I do not like the term weight loss. I don't think it really encapsulates what people are interested in, even though the term is used pretty liberally out in the field. Let's do a little bit of a thought experiment for a moment. Let's say that someone was interested in achieving weight loss as soon as possible. That was really their goal. Well, they could do that instantly. All they have to do is go to the surface of the moon, and because the force of gravity on the moon is about a quarter of what it is here on Earth, they will automatically lose weight. But that's not going to do anything for their health or anything for their body composition. So really, we're not talking about weight loss. We're really talking about a change in the body mass index. We're talking about maybe improving strength, stamina, our cardiovascular health, our cognition, our strength of our immune system, gaining muscle, and of course, reducing body fat. So I personally don't like the term weight loss. I would probably like to really be referring more towards healthy changes in body composition. And of course, the goal is we want to improve overall health. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Doing things, reducing body fat, getting stronger, and doing it in a healthy, natural way.
I think that sounds great. And by the way, we already have questions flowing in, David. So we'll be sure to save a few minutes at the end for that. But
I'd be happy to do that. We have a tremendous amount of material to go through. And one thing before we get started with all of this, I am an inventor. I'm a researcher. I am not a medical doctor. The point of this is not to provide medical advice to anyone. Everyone's health condition is going to be a little bit different because of pre-existing medical conditions, any medication they may be on. Are they currently in shape? Are they overweight? Are they obese? What's their age? Are they a smoker, heavy drinker? Whatever the case may be, everyone's situation is different. So we're not intending to provide medical advice. We're providing information that people can take to their healthcare practitioner and structure a program that's right for them. So this is for information only. If you see something here of interest, please take it to your healthcare provider and design a program that's right for you. So I think that would be the main message that we want to get out there as we start. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about, we're only going to spend a minute on this. Why would you want to reduce unwanted body fat other than some of the cosmetic reasons? You want to look better. You want to look better for your partner. You want to feel better. Well, a really good compelling reason is that when you are overweight or obese, it is going to increase your risk for disease. The three big ones, of course, are going to be cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. So I wanted to show this since most of this is commonly known, and this is coming from the National Cancer Institute. The numbers here are pretty shocking. As we scroll down and we look at the relationship between obesity and cancer. Now, of course, the number one killer is going to be heart disease, cardiovascular disease, but endometrial cancer, people that are obese are 7 times more likely to get cancer, endometrial cancer. If we look at liver cancer, for example, twice as likely, kidney, twice as likely. So one of the advantages that you have as you reduce your unwanted body fat is that you're going to reduce your risk of getting disease. So what, of course, we're concerned with at LifeWave is that we not only want to increase lifespan with our technology, but we also want to increase health span. So what that means is that if we can extend lifespan out to 100 years, 120 years, and longer, that's all fine. But if we're not improving health and keeping people younger in the process, then what's really the point? So the message here is that you really want to have a foundation of health, which is going to include proper diet, exercise, proper rest, hydration, proper nutrition, and then, of course, using technology like the LifeWave patches to have an overall program where you're reducing your risk of disease so you can be as healthy for as long a period of time as possible. Now, there's a number of ways that you can reduce your body fat and reduce your risk of disease. And I'm going to strongly urge you not to take an easy way out. What that means is that there are medications and herbal supplements, which we're going to be covering 2 of them, which can be used to reduce body fat, but they come at a price. So the first one that we would have here in the United States is Ozempic or semaglutide. And what I would draw your attention to are the side effects. So, of course, we have many people today, millions of people in the U.S. that are using Ozempic as a means for losing weight. And you can see how attractive this is, right? You get an injection, and now you don't have to exercise, you don't have to watch what you eat, and you lose body fat. It sounds like a great deal. But you scroll down and going through all the interactions on the drug and the potential side effects, and now we just look under precautions. This medicine may cause serious allergic reactions. Medicine may cause acute or temporary kidney injury. Medicine may increase your heart rate while you are at rest. We can continue to scroll down through side effects, and we see some of them a little bit unpleasant, but not necessarily life-threatening. but we scroll down again and we see that things like diarrhea, constipation, hair loss are all within possibilities as side effects. At the end of the day, again, I'm not a medical doctor. If you're currently using Ozempic and your doctor recommended it, that's all up to you. But you should be aware that using drugs for weight loss do come at a price. I would much rather see you speaking with a healthcare practitioner about using proper diet, proper nutrition, calorie restriction, if necessary, and exercise as a long-term plan for reducing your body fat and improving your strength and stamina. Now, what if you wanted to go the natural route? What's available for that? Well, let's talk about thermogenesis, and this would be the use of, in this case, natural materials such as caffeine, ephedra, and aspirin. That was the metabolite stack that was in use 20 years ago, which induces thermogenesis. So what this means is that without diet and without exercise, you can convert the fat in your body directly over to heat. Now, for most people, this would have some unpleasant side effects, meaning that this would cause an increase in heart rate, and metabolite was eventually shut down. You had millions of people using the supplement successfully, but you had about 100, 110 people that ended up dying as a result of using the supplement. There's a lot of controversy around this, and we're not really, the intent is not to talk about that. But that is to say that there are ways to use supplementation to directly burn fat and convert it over into heat without diet and exercise. But as a long-term plan, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. And again, you'd want to do this under supervision of your with your medical doctor. People with heart conditions or high blood pressure, definitely you don't want to use caffeine and ephedra as a means of achieving fat loss. It would be considered extremely dangerous, actually. But it's here anyway for your information. Now, the idea, though, that you could turn your fat over into heat and burn calories that way, or directly use fat for fuel, is extremely appealing. So what about if there was another approach to do that? I'm glad you asked. What about light therapy? Well, this is a very interesting approach because light therapy is currently used to reduce body fat. There is a asterisk next to this. It's not as simple as just exposing your body to light and you're going to magically lose body fat. But here's what it does, and there's a reason why I pulled this study up. Some of you that have been around with LifeWave for a while are going to immediately recognize this. But let's talk about it anyway. So essentially, the mechanism of action here is really interesting because effectively what low-level light therapy in this band between 635 and 680 nanometers is going to do is cause the fat cells in the body to release triglycerides, and now the fat is available for use as energy. Now, when I've spoken with medical doctors that use this clinically, basically what they do is they have people go through a light therapy session, and then they'll put people on an exercise bike or a treadmill. Now, I hope you're doing some type of cardiovascular training, let's say several times per week anyway. But now imagine the advantage of this is that when you're doing some type of cardiovascular training, you're using your muscle glycogen as a fuel. Well, in this particular case, by liberating the fat and making it available in your blood, now you can derive a higher percentage of energy from the fat. So what's been found clinically is you go through the light therapy, it makes fat available for use as energy, and you end up reducing your body mass index. So that was the result in this study. And in this particular case, they're looking at 4 weeks of treatments and a reduction in the circumference of the waist that's statistically significant. So completely non-drug, but it does come with using some exercise, which you should be doing anyway. And of course, you're going to enjoy the cardiovascular benefits. But one of the things that I wanted to show here was that the range of light that's being used is 630 to 680 nanometers. Now, one of the other things that we see in the literature, which we study at LifeWave in our research, is 630 and 660 nanometers. These are wavelengths that are approved by the FDA in the United States as a method of not only stimulating mitochondrial function, but also stimulating collagen production. So you could go to a cosmetic, you could go to a lab and a clinic, to a cosmetic doctor, and basically put your face into a bank of lights at 660 nanometer, and treating the face with 660 nanometer light causes an upregulation in energy and also stimulates the fibroblasts to produce more collagen. And that's FDA approved as a class 2 device. So it's very interesting that this range of wavelengths has all of these beneficial effects. As we look for ways to improve longevity and health span, of course, our principal area of research is mitochondrial function. So in this particular case, using these 2 wavelengths has multiple health benefits. So that's another reason to go ahead and show that. Okay. Let's take a look at the Mayo Clinic and see what they're recommending as weight loss strategies for success, and see if you agree or do not agree with these strategies. Right off the bat is number 1, make sure you're ready. Well, I actually thought this was a little bit silly. Who isn't ready to lose body fat and get stronger and healthier? I think most of us would agree, hey, at any time in our lives, we want to look our best, we want to feel our best. Maybe a better way to say this is mindset. Before you're going to start out on a program to reduce your body fat and build up your strength and stamina, build up some lean muscle, you really need to give some thought and preparation to your mindset. Are you in the right place? Are you really committed to this? And do you have the right mental, psychological approach? What I mean by that is that, let's use an example. We'll talk about Christian Bale and Ben Affleck. Both of these actors played Batman. Now, if you watch, I love superhero movies, no surprise, and I saw interviews with both of these actors. And Christian Bale had said that he absolutely loved the process of training to become Batman, learning martial arts, doing the weightlifting and the exercises, doing the body transformation. And, undeniably, he was a fantastic Batman, looked great, did great in the part. 3 fantastic movies. Ben Affleck, on the other hand, he was asked about it, and he said that he absolutely hated the process of training and getting in shape to become Batman. So because this was their job, they both got in shape for the roles, but no surprise that when Ben Affleck was done with the Batman role, he stopped the training and the results were really not so desirable for him. So this is to say that when you're getting ready to embark on a lifestyle change, and it's going to be a departure from what you're doing now. If you're sedentary, you haven't been eating healthy, and now all of a sudden you're going to change things, you want to really embrace this as a lifestyle, something where you're going to feel great. So go into an exercise program looking forward to it, enjoying it. I get up at 6 a.m. and the first thing that I do after getting out of bed is I get ready to go to the gym. I love doing early morning workouts with cardio and with weight training. And that's kind of my time during the day that I have to myself. And I hate when that time ends. I could stay in the gym for 90 minutes, but unfortunately I don't have the time for it. So try to adopt a mindset where you're really looking forward to this time that you have to improve your health and improve your energy. And this is going to show up benefiting you in every area of your life. So yeah, number 2, find your inner motivation, set realistic goals. Okay, let's talk about this for a moment because it's super important. If you haven't exercised in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and you're significantly overweight, you want to be looking at this as a long-term program. Don't be thinking, hey, I'll exercise for the next 30 days and then I'll drop a few pounds and then I'm fine. You really want to look at this as a change in lifestyle and something that you're going to adopt, hopefully, for the rest of your life. We know that people lose muscle mass, the arteries become harder over time, arterial plaque will accumulate in the arteries, and as we age, this increases our risk for heart disease, and we also experience sarcopenia, a loss of muscle mass. And correspondingly, with a loss in muscle mass comes a reduction in bone density. So, very practical reasons for adopting a program that includes exercise and having a healthy diet is that we can maintain our bone density, which is going to reduce our risk of getting a broken bone. And nobody wants to have a broken bone after the age of 70. The likelihood that we recover satisfactorily drops. We don't experience sarcopenia, or we can hold it off. So studies have shown that really regardless of your age, you can always build muscle. The quality of the muscle changes over time, but there's no reason why we can't maintain our strength and stamina and muscle over time. It does take commitment, but absolutely you can do it. So if you haven't been exercising for a while, get with a healthcare practitioner, get with a trainer that knows what they're doing, and start off slow. For many people, it may just be walking. And you say, okay, I'm 30 pounds overweight. I'm going to walk 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes a day at a slow pace, drop a few pounds, make dietary changes, and work up on this gradually. You do this, of course, with using LifeWave patches, and you'll find that the results that you get will happen much quicker. We're going to talk about that shortly here. But the point of this is that you're looking at improving your results over a period of months or even over a period of the next year. You're not trying to solve all of your problems within a 4-week or 6-week period of time. Okay, I think we've gone through this quite enough. Enjoy healthier foods, yes. Get active, stay active, yes. And change your perspective, we've talked about. Okay, Now, what about walking? I happened to mention that, and is walking exercise? Kind of an interesting question. On the one hand, if you haven't exercised in a long period of time, then walking definitely is a means to start getting you back in the habit of exercising and also helping you to start to achieve a number of your health goals. Over a period of time, though, walking is not going to be sufficient. You're going to want to include components in your exercise, which are going to be for cardiovascular health and also for building strength, resistance training. The resistance training could be in the form of body weight exercise. They could be weight training, but where you're going to use progressive overload, meaning that let's say you're doing body weight exercises like push-ups, and you can do modified push-ups. If you're not very good at them, you do push-ups where you're on your knees. You gradually add in more and more repetitions or more sets, and you build up your strength over time. If you're weightlifting, you work with a trainer to develop a program that's going to work for you. And again, the same principles apply. You use progressive overload, which means that in each workout, you try to go up in weight, or you try to go up in the number of repetitions or sets that you're doing. And then over a period of 3 months, 6 months, you'll see that you're much, much stronger than you were when you first started. So this is a strategy that's proven clinically, it's time tested, but the goal here is that, or the point is that you can start slowly with something as simple as walking, get your body moving, get some results, and then you can move on to some other things. Okay, well, here's an interesting take on this. 10,000 steps a day might be a magic pill for everyone. Okay, I've got a tip for the men out there. If you want a great way of eating pizza, pasta, and still losing weight, here's what I did. I met this beautiful Scandinavian girl. I married her, and then I took her to Rome for 5 days. And we enjoyed the food there. It was fantastic. And amazingly enough, we ate all this pasta and pizza, and we never gained weight. As a matter of fact, I lost weight, but we were walking 15,000 to 17,000 steps a day. So as it turns out, if you walk for 6 or 8 hours a day in the heat of the summer in Italy, yes, you can eat all the pizza and pasta you want, and apparently you can still lose weight. So, of course, I'm being a little silly right here. But the point is that, if you control your calories, which, we were eating twice, my wife and I, we were eating twice a day. We weren't eating crazy amounts of food. And we were walking all around the city. And we were doing 15,000, 17,000 steps a day. And that was a sufficient amount of exercise. And when I got back and got into the gym, having been away from weightlifting for a week, I found I did just fine. I didn't really lose any progress that way. So this is just all to say that there is some good clinical evidence around the use of something as simple as walking to produce cardiovascular health. My point here is that this is a great way to start. Don't feel like you have to jump in on being on a treadmill or an exercise bike or doing resistance training. You can start with something as simple as walking, and then as you progress, you can go to things that are more challenging and a little bit more difficult. I love the fact that, God, I can't believe it, I turned 61 this year, and I'm able to do whatever it is that I want with my kids. We go hiking, biking, engage in all types of different physical activities, and it's Wonderful. Okay, since we're talking about resistance training as being an important part of overall health and lifestyle, and we're going to be getting into some other things, so I'm just going to skip through this quickly. Resistance training as medicine. Peter Attia, who is a medical doctor, definitely recommend that you listen to some of his things. What he would say is that resistance training and cardiovascular training are the best things that modern science has in reducing risks of cardiovascular disease and diabetes and cancer. That there are no pharmaceutical drugs that even come close to the benefits of cardiovascular and resistance training in improving overall health. And there's study after study on this. So one way to look at this is you've got a choice. Do you want to be on pharmaceutical drugs, or which are going to degrade your health over a period of time? Or would you rather eat healthy, incorporate exercise into your lifestyle, enjoy it, be stronger, healthier, and use that as a medicine? Interesting choice and perspective. Not surprisingly, there are studies that look at how in older adults that being healthy and using resistance training like body weight exercise or weightlifting improves health-related quality of life. And this was the conclusion of this study. So yeah, I mean, not really surprising. If you have less body fat, more lean muscle mass, you're going to have a better outlook on life, and you're going to be healthier and feel better as a result. So no surprise there. Evidence mounts on the benefits of strength training. Yeah, I mean, I think athletes have known this for decades, that if you exercise throughout the course of your life, you're going to be happier and healthier. What was interesting here is the study found that just 30 to 60 minutes a week of strength training may be enough. That could be 3 days a week, 20 minutes per session. So we're not really talking about spending hours and hours in a gym. Back in my mid-50s, I was putting in 90 minutes a day in the gym 6 days a week because I loved it. And I really enjoyed doing that level of exercise. Now with LifeWave growing as quickly as it does, I try to get in 45 minutes 5 days a week now. But the point of this is that you don't have to spend, hours a day in the gym. 30 to 60 minutes a week could be enough. So again, maybe you're just working out 10 minutes on body weight exercises 3 days a week. You may initially think that's not enough, but hey, yeah, it is. Okay. Another thing that we talk about from a longevity perspective is when we think about how can we increase lifespan and keep you as young as possible for as long as possible if you are overweight. It turns out that your extra body fat is going to disrupt the way the mitochondria works. Now, this is a well-known phenomena called mitochondrial dysfunction. And most people start to see this around age 50. This is a normal, if you want to call it that, consequence of aging, where the body shifts into using more carbohydrates as fuel and less body fat. And of course, the net end result is we see a slowdown of the metabolism and people are accumulating body fat. But here we have, this is maybe a little bit of a chicken and an egg type thing. But here, what we're showing is that when people are significantly overweight, in this case obese, that it does change the way the mitochondria functions in processing energy, and this leads to increased inflammation, which leads to disease. So this shows that where the links are and the connections are between being obese and increasing your risk of cancer, heart disease, and diabetes. The extra body fat shuts down the mitochondria. This leads to an increase in inflammation. The inflammation damages the cells, and now that makes you more prone to disease. All right. So enough of that. So what can we do about all of this? We've covered the necessity of doing exercise. What are some other techniques you can use? You don't want to use Ozempic. You're not going to use stimulants like ephedra or caffeine. Maybe low-level light therapy is not going to fit into your budget or to your lifestyle. What other tools are available? Well, let's talk about acupuncture, which we don't normally talk about, but in this case, you can apply the LifeWave patches over to acupuncture points, and they stimulate the acupuncture points. We have a number of studies that we started way back in 2005, 2004 actually, showing that this was actually the case. And we're going to talk about two studies a little bit to show you what happens when you apply our patches over to points on the body and the results that you get. But the acupuncture points that continue to show up in studies surrounding reduction in body fat are what are called stomach 36 and spleen 6. We're not going to teach acupuncture here, but what I'd recommend is you put into Google acupuncture point stomach 36 or ST36 and acupuncture point SP6, and you can see where they're located. ST36 is located below the knee, and SP6 is located 4 finger widths above the ankle bone on the inside of the ankle. But the point of this is that we can stimulate the acupuncture points with the patches. In this particular case, what they do with transcutaneous electrical stimulation is you put a needle, which is painless, into the acupuncture point and run electricity through it. And what we can see here is transcutaneous stimulation treatment improves body composition. So imagine that. No drugs, just using a needle and electricity and putting them in at certain points in the body reduces body fat. What other evidence do we have? Effective acupuncture on body weight reduction and inflammatory mediators in Egyptian obese patients. Conclusion: body acupuncture in combination with diet restriction was found to be effective for weight loss and also reduction of inflammatory reactions. Now, what's interesting is that if you go through the literature, there are a lot of unknowns as to exactly why this works. The current thinking is that when you stimulate this SP6 or spleen 6 point on the inside of the ankle, that it balances out the hypothalamic region of the brain. The hypothalamus is often referred to as the control center for the brain. So it's going to control your body temperature, your immune response, and so forth, your appetite. And the idea is if you stimulate this spleen 6 point, it balances your appetite, makes you less hungry, reduces cravings. That means you take in less calories, and now you lose weight. So that's the thinking on the method of action. But the bottom line is that this is a very easy, convenient, inexpensive technique to help manage weight and improve overall health. Central obesity. This could be the name of a TV show on Netflix, Central Obesity. What is central obesity? It simply refers to the weight around the center of your body and or the waistline. Significantly increases risk of serious health problems. Yeah, we have talked about this. When you are overweight or obese and you're carrying that weight around the center of your body, it's going to increase your risk for heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. No surprise there. So what do we do? Well, this is going to come as great news to anybody that's got a little bit of extra weight around their waistline, is that electroacupuncture has been used to reduce belly fat. Now, this, of course, is thought to be not possible. You're not able to target belly fat specifically. And again, mechanism of action is not well understood, but the conclusion here is this study provided evidence that electroacupuncture could be effective in treating the excess body fat around the waist, reducing waist circumference, that's what WC is, hip circumference, body weight, body mass index. That's great. If we're getting a reduction in BMI, we're reducing body fat. Now, let's take a look at a different approach. There are many different mechanisms that we investigate here at LifeWave, and we're doing some research, and something interesting happened. Let's say we're trying to develop a new patch, and we're developing this new patch, and we find that it's triggering methylation pathways. Now, in the DNA, when the DNA, let's make this simple. When we're talking about gene expression, we're talking about genes being methylated or hypermethylated, and this is the way that genes are turned on or off, and the way that we're accessing, our bodies access information out of the genes. And this involves methylation pathways. And one thing that we started to see is we put people on this product and they started to lose belly fat. Great thing. Why was this happening? Well, what we found in the literature is that this technique that we're using is acting remarkably similar to intake of a supplement called trimethylglycine or betaine. And one source of this naturally is in beets. But if you don't want to get it in beets, then it is available in supplementation. But what's so interesting about this supplement, I wanted to mention it because the scientific literature seems to show that when you take this supplement, you can help support and build muscle mass as you're exercising, but also reduce belly fat or body fat in the process. So right here, the results suggest that dietary betaine is just another word, another term for trimethylglycine, might be an effective approach for reducing body fat. So maybe you consume more beets, it raises your nitric oxide, reduces your belly fat, improves your overall cardiovascular health, improves your muscle mass. I'd say that's a pretty good deal. Here's another study, the effects of chronic or long-term betaine supplementation on body composition and performance in collegiate females. So this was a very interesting study because it was showing that the use of trimethylglycine or betaine didn't necessarily have an effect on strength, but it was promoting reductions in fat mass. Now, this is just on women, and I think it would be good to have a study to compare this to where it's just on men or a population of both men and women. I don't know why it was done on untrained collegiate females, but in any case, that was the study design. Okay, now we'll just wrap up. There's two studies in the back office that you can take a look at. One is on X39, the other's on X49, and we've done entire presentations on these studies already. But basically what we showed was that use of X39 or X49, or the combination of the two, improved overall fitness, strength, and stamina. So this study is already in your back office. You can look at it at you can look at it at your own convenience. But here, overall changes in the population people over the age of 40 showed a 31% to 70% improvement in fitness in 60 days. I'll take it. And then this other study that I wanted to refer you to was on SP6. So when we're talking about using SP6 to help control appetite and use diet and exercise as a means for reducing body fat, not only do you get that benefit of appetite control, but in addition, this study was interesting. It was performed at the University of Texas, El Paso with Dr. Homer Nazaran, and we used a technique called electrointerstitial scanning. And what this showed is that the SP6 patch improved the physiological response of organs in the body. So in other words, it improved the bioelectrical function of the organs in the body when using SP6. And that was when you apply it to the stomach 36 acupuncture point. So in other words, you apply the patch to stomach 36 or SP6 for appetite control, and you get all of these other health benefits as a result. So let's see. Okay, perfect. So Jeff, huge amount of information. I know I went a little bit longer than I wanted to on that to give some more time for questions, but it was really worth going over and looking at a balance. Kind of the bottom line on this is people should visit with their healthcare practitioner, design a program that's right for them. It should include exercise. They should think of this as a long-term program. They can start slow and build up over time. They should be thinking about having a healthy diet. And the great news is you don't have to use drugs. You don't have to use stimulants. There's light therapy, there's acupuncture, there's our products, which can all improve strength and stamina and reduce body fat and improve muscle mass over time. So I think that's the great news.
That's fantastic news and great information overall. Well, David, the question, my goodness, we've got nearly 100 questions that have come in during the webinar. So clearly we can't get to all of them. But I do have to say one of the most frequently asked questions actually has nothing to do with fat loss. It has to do with, and I don't know if we can say much, but when are the supplements coming out? Everyone wants to know. They're very excited.
If I were to answer this honestly, then I would say I tried the supplements yesterday and they're phenomenal. We had a test group here at the lab in Florida, and every single person loved the product. We were doing a taste test on it. They loved the product, but the really important thing, which was maybe a big surprise with this as we've gone through development, I know you've experienced this, is that literally within minutes of use, that people get a boost in energy, and it lasts about 4 to 6 hours. And there is no caffeine in this product at all. There's no stimulants. We have a way of coming up with a novel combination of natural ingredients that improve overall energy, overall health. And yes, we can make the claim that the product improves the activity of the stem cells in the body. So it's a perfect match for X39 and X49. For those people, we'll have about 6,000 people now that are in Dallas. Every person that will come to Dallas will get free samples to enjoy of the daytime and the nighttime formulas. So that's our gift to say thank you for attending Dallas. And of course, we're going to have more information on it in Dallas, but we'll have free samples for sure for the people that come to Dallas.
Oh, that's fantastic. And then in relation to the conversation we had today around, fat loss and other things, is there anything in these supplements that you think might help support people in their goals in that regard?
Absolutely. In our research here, as we're looking at longevity, I've been focusing in on the positive and negative feedback between glutathione and nitric oxide. So in order to make energy, in the cell, you have to have both of these present. So let's say someone is using caffeine as a means of metabolizing fat. The problem is that this is going to produce a lot of radical oxygen species, and as the glutathione levels go down, the mitochondria shuts down, and that's this negative feedback loop. So one of the things that we want to do is keep the glutathione levels elevated, but also keep the nitric oxide levels, because that's on the other side of the feedback mechanism. And as a result, people will experience better immune health, better circulation, better cognition, quite a few health benefits, sexual benefits when you elevate nitric oxide. So one of the things that this formula will do is support that activity within the cell. So yes, I think I'd say that as part of an overall program of maintaining health, reducing body fat, the supplement will be excellent for that.
Very good. Very good. Okay, so then the next question is, what if someone is working to gain weight, perhaps rebuilding after illness or when building muscle mass? What patches would best support a good diet and exercise program for that?
Okay, so actually, I should have covered this before, so I'm really glad this question came up now. When people are interested in gaining weight, so let's say we're going to assume they're interested in putting on muscle and not body fat, the first thing to start with, from my perspective, on macros would be the amount of protein they're going to take in. And I've looked at quite a bit of literature on this, and the results continue to come back and say that having about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight is a good benchmark. There's a little bit of a range in here, but let's say for a 200-pound man, that would mean you would have 200 grams of protein per day, and then you break that down into 4 meals. So you'd have 40 to 50 grams of protein per meal. That seems to be what the literature shows. So for many people, that's going to mean you're going to have a protein shake once or twice a day out of convenience. Then I would say you take a look at your overall calories. I personally would prefer to have healthy fats in my diet, like olive oil, and try to get healthy carbs on vegetables. Broccoli's, kind of my go-to for a number of reasons. But I would say, start with your macros and start with the total protein and see if you can structure having 4 meals per day depending on body weight and depending on goals, that 30 to 50 grams of protein, depending on body weight. Most people, where they're going to fall down in gaining weight is they're not consuming enough protein. I've spoken with many athletes over the years, bodybuilders especially, and that's the number one thing that they see. People are training correctly, they're exercising correctly, they're getting enough sleep, but they're not eating enough. And that's where people are falling down there.
Oh, very good. Very good. All right. We probably have time for one more. Just trying to pick a good one here. Okay. We have a couple questions that are kind of related. Can the patches be used concurrently with pulsed electromagnetic field therapy? And can I do red light therapy with those face masks and wear the patches at the same time as well?
So I would say, generally speaking, yes. I have over 70 patents on pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, and we've spent years of time and money doing research on this. And basically, depending on the type of PEMF therapy, there's no reason why you couldn't use the patches. The way I would say this is that the patches are interacting with the body. They don't really care about the PEMF therapy per se. So The question is, what's the PEMF therapy doing to the body? That's really more of the question. If we use an example, let's say we take an Apple Watch or a Samsung Watch or a Fitbit, one of these. Many people may find that if they do a kinesiology test, many chiropractors will do this. So they do a muscle test. They'll find that if they do a test, let's say they're holding their arm out, without the Fitbit or the Apple Watch, they're stronger. And as soon as they put on the Fitbit and the Apple Watch, they become weaker. This says something about how those devices are interfering with the neurological system in the body and interfering with the way the muscles contract. So very low, weak electromagnetic fields can have a beneficial or detrimental effect on the health of the body. So with PEMF, what I would say is that what we found over more than 10 years of research is that very low intensity, very weak magnetic fields have a profound effect on health. There's no reason to use very strong electromagnetic fields with PEMF devices. So some of the PEMF mattresses that are out there are very, very good, and they also have solid literature behind them. And no reason why you couldn't use the patches with red light therapy or PEMF therapy.
All right. Well, as it always does, it has flown by and we are just about out of time. So David, before we close, anything else you'd like to share with this community?
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. Well, first, I want to thank everyone for being here today and for taking the time to listen to this information. If you're someone that is really struggling with your health, there are all types of resources that you can tap into. Definitely work with a healthcare practitioner. We have amazing healthcare practitioners in the LifeWave community, but work with a healthcare practitioner to shape a program that's going to work for you. Get started. You can start slow. You don't have to resort to drugs or stimulants. And over a long period of time, which goes by very quickly, 6 months, a year goes by very quickly, you can find yourself in a position where you can reduce the body fat, you can build muscles, feel great, be stronger, be healthier, and change your life for the better. And you and your loved ones will really appreciate it. So I would say there's always hope. Don't give up. Keep pressing forward, and people can accomplish the goals they want in this area.
Perfect. Well, David, as always, we appreciate you and your wisdom and sharing your knowledge with us. And as for everyone else, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next month. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.